Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Crypt. I am your host, Aesthetic DM, otherwise known as Dixie Normus. Here with me again is my co-host, Dylan, otherwise known as Wizardly Dylan. And today we got
And Ziggy.
and Ziggy. How are you doing, Dylan?
I'm doing good. Doing
How's the
school
week?
this week.
How's the week been?
Lots of school. Got to play Magic a couple times this week on Spell Table, and once in my local LGS. I guess saying local LGS is redundant, but yeah, I got to play Magic quite a bit this week, and I'm grateful for that. I started doing a little arena before bed, like 30 minutes, just to get that 60 card format swag going on.
You missed last Wednesday.
I did miss last Wednesday. This Wednesday I was here. Last Wednesday I wasn't. Last Wednesday my girlfriend's car broke down, so I was helping her tow it.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully everything's okay with you.
Yeah, we're gonna get it to a shop hopefully next week. I tried a hybrid battery. I was able to do it, but now we think like something might be wrong with the electric motor. Anyways, it's another topic.
Well, you missed it. I got fucking demolished by Blood Moon again.
Oof, that hurts.
Yeah,
of course, I played Rakdos, so Blood Moon's always just a fine thing for me.
Well, it was worse because I was in a 3-man pod. Going first, Obnix list, then Winota, then me. And then Winota just like has the hand to just ate me out. All the Winota player did was interact with me and leave Ob alone. And Ob just barely didn't get there because he missed like a land drop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, dude, this Ob almost won because he just did not bother doing anything to him. But whatever.
Did the Winota player end up taking it?
No, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. They won that game obviously because they were uncontested players. But yeah, I'm not sure. I lost that game, got into another 3-pod, again down to 3, and I was third again. And then I just like, that's enough. I'm going to bed because the next pod would be another 3-man pod and I would be in it again. So I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm just gonna go to sleep.
I had a day at Ender's, the store we play at, where I played 4 3-man pods in a row, and I wanted to just jump off a cliff at the end of it. It was terrible.
It's
2 of them were Magda.
We're always just like one person short. 2 full pods sometimes. Feels bad.
It does feel bad. Hopefully it's not a problem in the future. Speaking of which, if you're in Fresno on Wednesday nights and would like to play some Magic, head on over to Ender's. That's where we play C.
Learn some good cEDH.
Yeah, get wrecked with the best of them. I'll be crying right next to you.
Well, speaking of getting wrecked, let's talk about local-ish tournament that I went over at NorCal TCG. A pretty small tournament. It was bracket showing 20 people. And I drove over there, 3-hour drive out there to Inez. Called
Very cool.
somewhere by Sac. I don't know. But I showed up there with Blue Farm, try to get more reps in, try to win some money since it was a cash prize event. It was the same day as I believe Chaos, but we already talked about Chaos and so I decided to go out to this one, and also because I just like in-person events more. So went out there and to see how I would do, and also to check out what metagame is like and what the player base is shaping up over in that area, since they really have people that play out in like Sac proper that are from there and not from over here in this area. So also a good idea to see what the player base is shaping out to. And when I got there, oh my god, there's nothing but Kinnan. It was just Kinnan and Grixis something. those were like the only two decks. There was one Elevere, and then there was one one Obnixilus, I believe. But that was
Let's go.
That was it. It was just Kinnan.
Yeah, Kinnan is just.
And one Sauron player, one Talion player. There you go. Most of it was just Kinnan, Blue Farm. It was off. But anyway, so going up first pod, it was Kinnan first, Blue Farm, me, and Elevere, I believe. So I have a pretty decent hand. It's pretty mid-range. And I'm banking on Elevere to do stack stuff, slow down the game, and for me to just, grind it out with some draw power.
Sure.
Seat 2, Blue Farm, starts out pre-games with a Gemstone Cavern. And then at the end of the Kinnan's turn, casts a Vampiric Tutor, gets something to the top of the library. Goes to their turn, no land drop, casts Dark Ritual. And for some reason, just like cast Ritual and then right away slams down a Necropotence. Without passing priority or anything. I'm just like, oh, and I know the player, buddy of ours of our group. Name is Frank. I'm just like, whoa, Frank, whoa, slow down. You didn't even pass priority on Dark Ritual. He's like, are you gonna counter my Dark Ritual? I'm like, yeah. Here's a mental misstep. And he's like, oh. He's like super burnt. I'm like, why would you just win me a slam Dark Ritual and then Necropotence without checking for priority? Like, maybe I would have let it go if you were just like Dark Ritual and then nothing, but probably still would have countered it.
Pacing is huge there, especially when you're about to make a huge play like that.
Yeah, so I was like, okay. And then I go to my turn, I cast some stuff, and then we go to Blue Farm. Kinnan turn 2 plays, oh man, what was it? He plays a Manglehorn and blows up, I forgot what he blows up, something insignificant. I think he blew up something from Elevere, maybe, I don't know, it doesn't matter. It was nothing big. And we go back to Blue Farm's turn, C2, and he has nothing, and he's like completely blown out, which is crazy. He was banking on that Necropotence, which I'm like, sure, it's powerful. So, and then Elevere casts like Giant Magistrate, and now we're just like pretty locked down. I'm like, ooh, okay. My hand's still fine. Like I have a Dockside, but there's no artifacts yet anymore, and there's a, Manglehorn now, so I'm like, now it's useless. And I'm also looking at an Adna, so I'm like, I'm gonna sit here for a while. And
right, you're just chilling, straight chilling.
Turns go by, and I managed to find a Wishclaw Talisman, and I'm like, well, I don't know who to really give it to. I don't want to give it a Stax. I definitely don't want to give it a Kinnan. And I'm like, I might give it to Blue Farm because there's still a 1 land, and we're already on turn like 4. So oof. I'm like, I don't know if I want to give it to you. And Blue Farm's like, I'll show you my hand, and I'll like for you to like give it to me. And I'm probably gonna get a land. So I'm like, sure, let me see your hand. He shows me Necropotence, Thassa's Oracle, a D-Tutor, and some other garbage. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you would have won from that Necro. I'm like, you know what? You're still stuck in 1 land, and it's already like about to be turn 5. Here, take the Wishclaw Talisman. No, punish me. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be okay. And then when it goes to his turn, he tutors for Command Tower and plays it, and he's tutors, or later on it turns out to be a Bowmaster. That's what he's tutored for. But anyways, that's what he does. And then Elevere is like casting tutors, trying to stick a an oof onto the battlefield because Kinnan has a bunch of rocks. I don't really have that many. I don't really have that many rocks. He only has like 3 rocks, but they want to get an oof out to like really lock down the board. And I'm only having to cast like 1 counter spell because they can't fight back, and no one else is gonna fight it. So I'm just like countering it, and they're like trying really hard to like tutor an oof into play, either through Cord, Eldritch Evolution. Like they're trying to get it into play. Me and Kinnan are like, no, we both don't want this. I'm looking at my docs and like, I need this fucking Manglehorn gone, and I just go for a win. And after some time, I'm drawing a bunch of cards, and I'm letting, and then at that point, Blue Farm cast his Bowmaster with my draw engines, and then I think Kinnan had some draw engines. we're just triggering and we're like dealing damage to faces. We're dealing damage to mainly the stacks pieces to get him off, because he started playing some stacks pieces, and he's like having to spend his bowmaster triggers to kill it, so it's leaving my life total pretty high, and rightfully so, because we're not going to be able to win through him. And then it gets to the end of the game where things are getting like pretty fucked, pretty like messed up, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be able to win through this Manglehorn. It's sticking around, and he doesn't want to kill it, and he's also got like a 6/6 like army that's coming at me. It's already hit me once. I'm like, all right, you know what? I tutored a mystical tutor, so I'm like, okay, you know what? I drew the cards that I needed. I have Thassa's Oracle. I got turn prior I tutored for a demonic tutor. I'm just gonna be fine. So end step, tutor for a silence, put it on top, go to my turn, cast silence, no response, and I just Thassa tainted path. With my hand being Dockside, Intuition, Adnaz, and a bunch of other stuff that just doesn't do anything through this fucking Manglehorn. I'm like, all right, it's fine. I'll just get the other win con, I guess. Stacks is useful. Stop playing stacks. Play something good.
Or get better at playing.
It's really hard when there's decks like Blue Form that can just be like, okay, I'll just get the other win con that's not stopped by stacks. So it's really difficult, but yeah. So that's how.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I managed to take down round 1. That was pretty good. Going on to round 2, it was Hellion, Sauron, me, and Kidden again. And in this pod, Kidden mulligans down to 3, and they're in last, so they're looking rough.
Yikes.
And I'm just like, oh man, I'm telling the table like, hey, we're the only pod with wins, and pod 2 has draws, and that's it. They're the only pod with draws. Everyone else has like losses, I believe, or other draws. But I'm like, yeah, we could draw, and I think we could draw all the way up to the finals if we do that. And they were like, I think there's 2 little people, and they were like too scared to do it. I'm like, okay, I don't care. Let's play it out. And so we start playing it out. Hellion is like showing some scary ass shit. And we're all countering each other's draw engines. Ristic Study gets countered. Mine gets countered. Same thing with Sauron. He had I forgot which draw engine it was. It was either the One Ring or it was same thing with his, and that got countered. And we're countering like draw engines. It's getting crazy. And finally, I get to a point where I have nothing in hand but just like a rock and Wheel of Fortune. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna cast Wheel of Fortune because my hand's empty. Cast Wheel of Fortune, and no one does anything. Hellion had something they could cast, but I think they would rather go to the graveyard because they didn't respond to it. And so I drew a new 7, and it was garbage. So like, cool. Turn goes around.
Pitching down to 6.
What was that?
Did you go down to 6?
I mulliganed down to, I think I mulliganed to 6 cards. Started that game with 6 cards, I believe. But they were like pretty good because like I was actually using my hand I used my hand so much that I was down to my last 2 cards. So I finally next turn I get a tutor, and I'm like, cool. Pass around. I think it was a vampiric tutor. Put Adnaz on top of my deck because I had a lot of mana up, and get my Adnaz, and I'm just there like, man, everyone just drew a fresh 7. I could rip this Adnaz, but then like I'm pretty fucking tapped out, and I have other like forms of like I have like one interaction piece. I'm like, I can just hold up interaction. Maybe someone else goes for it and I stop them, or I Adnaz here and just probably get blown out. Like, ow, wait a turn. Passes around, end step. The other Sauron starts doing stuff on the stack. He's trying to cast things. And then like at instant speed and setup, and we're trying to stop him on the stack. He's like trying to get rid of like I think Talion was trying to cast Counterbalance, and they're trying to like stop him, and he's trying to stop him, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't really got a lot. So we go through a huge counter war over like Counterbalance and draw engines from the Talion, and finally gets to his turn, and then he just tutors and shows the Thassa combo, and I had to tap out to use my interaction. So I'm just looking at my Adnaz, and I'm like, damn, so close. And then we get to the end of the game, and he shows like, oh yeah, that was it. It was just that minor interaction that I had, but I ran out of backup. Like, man, I could have just not interacted, and then at the top of it, just add NOS instead, and just like won. I'm like, I should have done it, but whatever.
I mean, there's no way to know that would have panned out. Then.
Yeah, so, I mean, and
you did the right thing.
I didn't want to contribute my NOS, and then because it did seem like to have the nuts with all the interactions. So I'm like, I didn't want to like countered and set up more, like add more spells to the stacks. I'm like, I should have just done it and said fuck it. Not like I could have.
Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, so I'm like, I should have just ripped it on my fucking fuck it. But yeah, that was it. That was ripped. Then round 3 was me going first, fucking finally. Second was Hidden. Third was Obnixilus, and fourth was Magda. There's a Magda player.
Oh my goodness.
They were all fairly new. So okay. I go open up.
That pod sounds very fast, in normal circumstances.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I open up and I have a lot of mana and a turn 1 wheel or a turn 2 wheel with even more mana on the if I wait another turn. So I'm like, yeah, play 2 rocks on my turn, goes around, they play dorks and play whatever. Go to my second turn, play more rocks, Wheel of Fortune. And everyone's like, ooh, and I'm like, let's go. And wheel, get a new hand, and there's like an Adnos in the hand and some other like mid-range stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm winning like on probably the next turn or so. We'll see how things pan out. And yeah, it goes to the Magda's turn, and they're like, oh, cool. Land Jessica's Will targeting you, Blue Form. Like, all right, well, he's only choosing mana, so whatever. Makes mana, and he casts Magda and 2 dwarves. I was like, okay, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna still hold up because I have no interaction in hand, and the kitten is bleeding his hand, and I see he has interaction. I'm like, okay, I can't go for it yet. I'm gonna hold up. Still wait. Set up some more stuff. Pass the turn. Kitten setting up some more stuff. Goes to the Magda's turn, and they top deck and like, oh, cool. Cast Zorn. I'm like, okay.
I've heard that name since Prosper was a thing.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, okay. I guess he's gonna go for the win. He attacks me and makes 6 treasures, and now he's holding up a Magda activation, and then he could possibly win. So I'm like, yeah, that's not looking good. I go to my turn, and I top deck a Wishclaw Talisman. So I'm like, you know what? Let me see if I can outplay this guy. So I look at him, I say, casting Wishclaw Talisman. I look at him, I look at his Magda, and I look back at him, and he's like, that's priority? Like, cool, resolves. Activate Wishclaw Talisman. Look at him, look at the Magda, look at him, and he's like, pass priority. Sick. Go into my hand, and I forgot, I fetched something else, some protection, I think it was. And then I give it to the Obnixilus. And then at the end of the turn, he's like, oh fuck. He's like, I think I should have cast it. He could have tutored for an opposition agent. And I look at him and I'm like, there's not an opposition agent in my hand. I did not tutor. Goes to the Kinnen's turn, and he flips Kinnen and gets into a Gilded Drake. And
oh wow.
He's like targeting the Magda.
What?
And yeah. So also before that, sorry, he had a bunch of mana that he cast his Summoner's Pack, and he looks at me, and I'm like, I'm not gonna steal your Summoner's Pack, bro. You don't got anything in the deck that wins me the game. And he gets, I forgot what he got, and then he casts Court of Calling, and he looks at me, he's like, Oppo check? I'm like, I told you, you don't have any creatures that win me the game in your deck. I'm not gonna steal your cord. And he's like, okay. And he puts down Seedborn Muse. And right. Okay, so yeah, he gets Seedborn Muse. I don't know what else he gets. He goes to the Ob's turn. Ob is thinking of cracking the Wishclaw, and I tell him, Ob, don't crack the talisman, because I'm holding up for the Magda player. just don't even do it, because then you're gonna force me to react. Magda's gonna do it on top and then win. Like, just don't crack it. And he's like so sad. He was able to cast a Ob Nixilis, but he doesn't want to attack with it. And he's like, he's like, okay, I'm gonna pass. At the end of the turn, that's when the Kingdom player flips into the stupid Gilded Drake, and he's targeting Magda. And the Magda player is like struggling. He's like, oh, I don't know what to do. And I told him, like, listen, he's got a Seedborn Muse out with Kinnan now and like Dorks, and like got this. Like, honestly, your best bet right now is to cast a crack Magda and go find Portal to Phyrexia. Also, because there's an Ob Nixilis, and under Ob Nixilis, he managed to flip over Necropoets. So I'm like, you just need to get rid of the board right now, and like it's gonna force him to like have to keep the Gilded Drake to take your Magda, and not keep Kinnan or the Seedborn Muse. So we'll be good, and then you can just later on remove the Magda and then get it back later. But like, yeah, we're like, you need to get this Portal Phyrexia. And he's like, you're not gonna op on me? I'm like, if you're getting a Portal Phyrexia, I'll let you tutor. So he's like, okay. In response, cracks it, gets the Portal to Phyrexia. Ob is crying now, so he sacks Ob Nixilis, and the Kingdom player almost doesn't sack his he almost keeps the Kinnan or the Seedborn. And me and Ob were like, bro, you need to keep the Drake to steal the Magda. He has a Zorn. He doesn't sacrifice creatures. Only we do. He's like, oh, okay, yeah. So, and he's still like, wait, and he's still thinking, like, he took a good 5 minutes, and we're like, dude, he has a Zorn out. He's really close to winning. He's still got his 2 dwarves. That's another 6 treasures. That's another activation he has. So he's like, oh, okay. Keeps a Gilded Drake, swaps the Magda, goes to Magda's turn. They top deck removal, and they show Chaos Warp targeting the Magda. And I was just like, oh, well, whatever. I knew he was going to do it anyways. And the Kinnan player is like, oh, man, I wish I could counter this. And he shows a Fierce Guardianship. I mean, Ob, or like, especially me, because I'm like, that's the interaction he's been holding this whole time for me. And I only have like 1 piece of interaction. So I'm like, I was like, bro, you can cast it. He's like, what do you mean I don't control a commander? I'm like, yes, you do. You control Magda. The spell just says you control a commander. He's like, oh, sick. Just right away throws it, casts it, counters a Chaos Warp. Magda is like thinking about attacking, and I'm looking at my Outlaws in my head, and I'm just like, hey man, you can attack me if you want, but he has a Necrobones that we know of right now. And I was like, you gotta attack the blue farm player. And I'm like, yeah, you can attack me. I'm at like 30, what was it, like 34 health. I'm like, I'm at 34 health. Yeah, you can come attack me and do like, what was it, 5 damage, I think. You can do 5 if you want, but we do know there's for sure a Necrobones right now, and we don't know I have an Adnos, but you can attack me if you want. And he's like, oh, like thinking about it, and he's like, oh, you know what? Okay. He swings all out to Ob Nixilis and goes my goodness. Goes to the end of Magda's turn, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'll show this Adnos. And Ob Nixilis is like, what did I say? And Magda's like, no, bro. And Kinnan's like, well, I just used my last piece of interaction. And I'm just like, yeah, sorry, not sorry. And I flip through, I'm flipping through Adnos, and then I flip over Opposition Agent. And Magda's like, he never had the Oppo. He's like freaking out. I'm just like, yeah. Feels good.
Well, it sounds like you politicked the shit out of that game.
Yes. I don't think I've ever politicked the table that hard before.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. What was Final Pod like?
That was pretty good. Well, there's 4 rounds. So.
Oh, there's 4 rounds.
Into the 4th round. Oh, man. I do not remember round 4 at all. And I wish the deck lists were open.
You don't remember Finals Pod at all?
Finals Pod I remember. The 4th round I don't remember.
Okay.
They don't have the deck list open for pop it open and on. Doesn't matter. I won that one, but we'll go to finals.
Yeah, get wrecked.
Yeah. Finals was me in first seat. Finally, I'm first seat in a finals game. Round C2 was Sauron. C3 was Blue Farm, the one that I super fucked with the counterspell on the Dark Ritual, Frank. And then C4 was a Kitten player. So I'm like, okay, this is a pretty sick pod, pretty kind of diverse. You know, obviously there's 2 Grixis Shells deck, but you know, there's different commanders. So I'm like, you know what, this seems pretty good. Early on, I'm throwing down a bunch of I got like an early Rhystic Study. The other Sauron gets an early Rhystic Study. I have Crom and Timna, and then the Blue Farm is setting up like a bunch of crazy stuff. He's got a Ranger Captain. I'm like, okay, he's prepping to stop someone's win or just to win on his turn. It's looking really bad. Kinnan is like super fucked. Like he is not fighting anything. I think he mulliganed down to 4. He was looking rough, this Kinnan player. So I felt so bad for him. And then we go to I'm like getting primed to win, but I'm like, yeah, I know for sure there's too many draw engines here for me to go for a win, and there's like Ranger Captain, so I'm like, I can't even attempt to win.
Right.
But I have pieces to go for a win, and I'm just like, man, I can't do anything. So I'm a little stuck here, and I have no way to fish for info. So it goes to the Sauron's player's turn, and he casts a Sholdred. Like, Shelly, and I got technically 3 draw engines out. That fucking sucks.
Get wrecked.
So it goes around a bit, and then at the end I tutor for a deluge because I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm wiping the board. Blue Farm's showing too much crazy stuff. Kitten only has like 2 things out. They were like irrelevant, and I'm gonna have to wipe my board. But like I've already drew 6 cards off of my Timna and Krom, so I'm like, I got my money's worth off these guys. And I'm like, okay, this feels bad. So I Toxic Deluge naming 4. Everyone passes priority. Sauron's like,
you didn't
okay.
name 5?
No. And that's where I did my fucking pun. And yeah, he was like thinking about it, and I think he wanted to counter it, but I think he saw that there was the stupid Ranger Captain, so I think that's why he at the end of it didn't counter it. And also because I named the wrong number. So he's like, oh, even more reason not to counter it. And so that he lets it go through, and the whole table is just like, wait a minute. And I'm like, oh, it's 5. When the fuck did Shelly become? When did she have 5 toughness? I thought she was a 4/4.
She's always had 5 toughness.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, dude, 5 toughness. I'm like, what the fuck? And I look over to the other 2 players. I'm like, why didn't you guys say anything? And both of them, I thought she was 4 toughness too. Like, oh, no way,
so
bro.
great.
No way. So I'm like, whatever. So I'm taking fat damage from drawing my cards when they trigger. And I'm not, it's not like I'm not going to draw my cards. And I have tutors in my hand to like go for any combo I want. So I had 2, I think I had 2 tutors and 3 tutors. So I could have gotten like Dockside, tutor for another one, but like that's a lot of fucking spells I'm gonna be casting. But I had tutors to just go for any win line I wanted to. And finally gets to the Blue Farm player's turn, and he casts a silence, and he's trying to win, and we're like battling it out, showing so much stuff, and I'm like losing life drawing for my Rhystic Study to like find interaction, and I'm finding nothing. I drew like, God, I don't know how many cards and found like no interaction. Sauron player stops them, and finally goes to the other turns, and nothing's happening, and I'm like super low, and Sauron goes for the win, I think on top with our horn, and I'm like, you know what, I have to stop this win. And the only interaction I found was fucking God, what was it, Demonic Consultation. So I'm like, oh God, I look at Blue Farm like, bro, do you got anything? And he's like, nah. He's like, I blew everything, and I just have like win attempts, but I can't do it because I fucked up. He also punted too. He casted a fuck, what did he cast? He casted a Yawgmoth's Will, and then he activated LED for mana, and we're just like, okay, exile your hand, and he's like, oh. So he punted too, and yeah, the Kitten has nothing. He never established any draw engines. He never could catch up, never could get into the game. So he had
like that sometimes.
He had some of his stuff, and he's like nothing. I'm like, okay. All I have left is a Demonic Consultation to stop him here, and that's all I got. And the other 2 players are like, well, fuck it, otherwise he just wins. I'm like, all right. Cast demonic consultation, getting for a counterspell, and I proceed to exile my entire library. Like, great. Perfect.
Ouch.
And I find the counterspell at the last, like, I think it was like the 14th card. Counter it, and he's like, okay, I'm not gonna fight it. And he like had a bowmaster out that he cast to in response to all that during that time. So now he has like a fucking like 8/8 bowmaster. He's got Shelly. So he go around. I have nothing. Go to him, and he just starts beating face, discarding the hand size. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna beat you two down. Got nothing, and I'm like, only thing I have left in my deck after going through my library and graveyard is I have the possibility to draw more cards, but I'll lose life to Shelly. But I could maybe survive long enough that if he goes for a Thassa play, I could Born, Image, copy Thassa, and then just win on top because my library is so small. But he was just going for a beat spine because he's like, yeah, I don't need you're like super low already, and you have what, like 12, like 10 cards in your library. Like, he didn't need to go for any wins. So he just beat us down to death, and we lost. But yeah, for sure that misplay on the Deluge probably cost me the game, because then at that point I would have kept drawing cards and not have to worry about life, and then not demonic consultation. But yeah, that was pretty bad. But that's how it went. It was pretty good though. Up until the misplays, there was a lot of interaction being done. Not from Kinnan, unfortunately, but there was a lot of stuff going on. So it was a good game overall. But oh man, that Deluge misplay is gonna haunt me for a while.
Yeah, getting over something like that is rough. I've had a couple of times where just like, I punt really hard like that. I do the wrong thing during the breach line. Yeah, I forget. One time our friend Brian, like I let him bounce Conqueror's Flail from my board, not realizing that it turns off my Mox Opal in the game we were playing. Yeah.
I remember you talking. I remember you kind of talking about this. I wasn't there, but I heard you talking about it.
Yeah, so just small things like that. The game has a lot of pieces, a lot of moving pieces at that. So just part of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, so
but good job overall.
Yeah, pretty good. Managed to end the whole tournament second. We split the prize money, but we played for the top deck points. So I know there's like a lot of stink right now for a lot of people just splitting top four. And I think it's pretty good that what we did, where we're like, yeah, we'll split the money. Like, it's not that big of a difference, but we'll play for the top deck points. Most of us want to qualify because at the moment, we don't know if the top deck points are going to matter. I think it might be up to tournaments that are going to take it into account. But just in case, maybe Mox Masters comes back or something, I definitely want to be up on that leaderboard for sure. So we played for the points.
If not, there's the leaderboard, right?
Yeah. So we played for the points, and we split each $120. After paying for gas and food, I got to pocket a whopping $30.
Hell yeah.
Just enough to pay for the next entry of the tournament. Woo!
Woo! Speaking of which, congratulations, by the way. With that segue, do you want to talk about our second topic or the third topic we picked on? You said upcoming tournaments, so maybe we should.
We can do the second one real quick. I think both of these.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's do that.
We'll start with you. Go
Luis, I will ask you.
Okay, go for it.
I feel like I should be the asker to you.
Okay.
Luis, what do we need to work on?
So, when it comes to cEDH, I think I need to work on mulligans. I think I need to figure out mulligans. Probably also just a better shuffling technique, because recently I've been drawing like Yuki or going mulligan down pretty fucking low. So I think I just need to learn a better shuffling technique, because mine doesn't seem to be doing good. And just learning mulligans, getting better at mulligans. I don't know, it's really rough, because sometimes you look and you're like, I'm looking at a mid 7, and I'd rather go down to a really good 5. And then I'm mulligan down, and next thing you know, I'm like, oh shit, I'm mulliganing down to 3.
Oof.
Maybe I should have just kept that mid 7, I guess. Like, yeah. So I guess reading and knowing mulligans, I think I could work on, and I like to get better at for sure.
That's definitely a deck specific thing,
Yeah,
mulligans, right?
yeah,
So,
for sure.
and then I have no idea what you look for in a deck like Blue Farm when you mulligan, but I have a pretty solid idea what like a 2-color deck should mulligan for. And something like Ob, I feel like I'm pretty comfortable in that. What I need to work is just seeing the window and feeling comfortable with it. And that just happens, I feel like, after hundreds of games, you know how to do that. So I'm working my way there. But the window seeking is where I need to be. I need to learn how to do that.
Also, I want to give you some criticism too. I want to give you some critique.
Sure, you saw me playing with Nico and Seth yesterday.
Yes. You often get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll see you and I'm like, oh, Dylan's got this. And you're just like lost in it. And you're like looking at the other pieces and you're looking at your pieces. And I see you with decision paralysis. I'm like, oh no. Oh no, Dylan. No, you have it. Please, Dylan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely that window thing. I'm like, I have it right here, but is this the time? And then I ask myself that question too many times and get stuck, you know? I definitely see the windows more now than I did like maybe even a month ago, but now it's just the whole, do I go for it? Do I hide? Do I go for it?
You can also like honestly just like be upfront that you have a win con and like fish for information. Like that's something I've done and other people can do where you're like, you know, like, hey, like say you're a player, I don't know, it doesn't matter what player you are. You're like, hey, two players before me. You got something like to stop, you know, player after me? Cause I'm pretty worried about it and I don't wanna cast spells that you guys are gonna be scared of encounter and then waste your interaction on me. And you know, they'll probably like say something vague like, oh well, don't go for a win, we won't counter it. But it's like, well, you can be like, well, it's not gonna straight up win, but I'm not gonna like it. And you know, you can show like half a win con, be like, you know, you can just flash them fucking, I don't know, something scary like all will be one or something, you know, and you know, they'll be like, listen, they'll tell you like, don't go for it, and be like, unless you show me an interaction piece, I think I go for it. You can get some information like that out of them sometimes. But honestly, when it's Rakdos, sometimes I think you just kind of have to go for it. Like you don't really have a lot of windows. Like it's not like you have interaction to stop other people or like, you know, that's why I tell you need to slot in a emergence zone so you can just win on top of somebody else.
Yeah.
Because like you're not stopping another person's win, so you might as well just try to win on top.
It's a very valid point. I'm on Final Fortune. Finding a slot to cut for other things at this point in the game is definitely challenging because the list is
put out a basic for emergence zone.
I'm only running 2 basics.
Cut one of them out. Just cut out just the mountain because we already have fucking. God, I already forgot his name. He plays Blood Moon at locally, so Winota deck. So honestly, you just need to make sure you have yeah, there you go, Carlos. So you just need a black source. So just take out the mountain and put in the swamp. That's what stopped Matt when he was playing Omnixilus. Like he just needed the black source, and he missed his land job like I think 2 turns in a row, and that's all he needed to win through like all the stacks pieces that Carlos had. So just slot out the mountain, dude. Put emergence zone. Win an instant speed is just. You have to do it. You don't have the colors to not be doing stuff like that.
Very true.
Super underrated. But yeah, so yeah, I think that's. I think the more you play Ob, the more of those lines you know and memorize, you'll be able to see those windows.
I hope so. I hope so.
For you will, for sure. Next up is any upcoming tournament. Trying to go to a tournament this weekend, Dylan?
I will be going, let's see, not this weekend, but next weekend I'll be going with you and the guys up to Sacramento. Is that right?
Well, there's one this Saturday, up in San Jose. I think
San Jose.
that's San Jose this weekend. We were gonna go up to Reno, but we checked the weather and the pass is like snowing, and I don't have chains. So
Yeah.
I can't go to Reno to do the tournament over there, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna go to the one in San Jose. I don't know if you're free to go.
Unfortunately, I am not. Not this Saturday.
Okay.
I got work
The
stuff.
following Sunday, yeah, is Sacramento.
I'll be there. I'll see you guys in Sacramento.
Awesome. Okay. Well, that's our tournament. So hopefully next episode I'll have a recap on that, and hopefully the top 4 for that as well.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, hey guys,
win.
You want me to be at every tournament in America? You tell all your friends to hit like and subscribe and just support us, and then I will. If we hit the point where this can pay my bills, you best believe I'll do this.
I'm actually there's a big tournament happening in, I think, next month. It's in Florida.
Let's go. What? Are you trying to go to Florida?
I'm gonna go to Florida, dude. It's
that's crazy.
It's called Salt Fest, and it's let me see if I can find it up real quick. Got this part right here. Okay, so it's Salt Fest. It's a 10K event.
Wow.
It's I think it's like some kind of con or something happening. It's a 2-day event, and with the pass, $125. First place, $2,500.
That's pretty good. That pays for your trip out to Florida.
Oh yeah, second through fourth, $1,000. And top 16, $375.
Wow, 256 person cEDH. This event is insane. When is this?
Yeah, and I was looking at plane tickets, and their round trip, it's like $160 from LAX out to Florida.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
I think I'm gonna buy my tickets probably tonight or tomorrow, and then next week buy the plane ticket, and then I think that week of that I get paid, I'm gonna get the hotel room.
That's nutty.
Yeah, I think the most expensive part of this trip is just gonna be the hotel, but yeah.
I mean, at that, I don't know how expensive Florida is, but
I don't either.
You know,
I gotta look more into it, but yeah, I think I'm gonna do because on the same weekend there's Command Fest in San Francisco, well, Daly City technically, but it's not proxy friendly.
Oh yeah.
And top 4 just wins
That
like a
sucks.
pool, and top 4 wins like a pool of cards that are just kind of like whatever. The only good thing is like a foil mind break trap, I believe. The rest is like whatever. Expensive cards, but like,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I could build my blue form. I could make it all real and borrow the expensive stuff from the other buds.
Right.
But there's Salt Fest that's proxy friendly, 2-day event, and a $2,500 first place prize pool. You know, that sounds like an easy decision.
Seems good.
Yeah, even if I scrub out, I'm gonna be able to check out Florida, see what that event is like. Like, it doesn't seem like I'm gonna lose either way.
Yeah, that sounds like a great experience, man. Keep me updated on it. Maybe I don't know. I mean, it depends on the weekend it falls on, but
it is on April 20th and the
24th. Maybe. I'm gonna give that a big fat maybe right now. I would be down. I'm getting back into work from coming off school, so that's a huge thing of making the next month kind of like teeter totter.
Just do back-to-back 11-hour shifts, bro. That money.
We'll see. I know that we have a couple projects starting up, so we'll see.
Okay.
Moving on.
We have the borrow teaser list for Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
Let's go.
So let's kind of go. I will like rapid fire go through these, and I guess we'll talk about if any of them's exciting. I guess.
First off, what is Outlaws of Thunder Junction? Maybe I'm new to Magic. I don't know. I don't know why you would start here at a cEDH podcast, but maybe you are. Maybe you are.
Next MTG set, and it's Western themed, which a lot of people were like, "No, not a cowboy, Jace."
Well, they can all get wrecked because I am super excited for cowboy stuff. I'm gonna be. I want to dress up as a cowboy and go to pre-release.
Honestly,
if I end up doing that, I will post pictures.
I'm not excited for it.
Dude, you sound like a wet blanket right now, bro. Like you're the biggest party pooper. I don't like cowboys.
I'm a big fan of Westerns, but I don't want fucking like I don't know. I don't want cheese in my PB&J, you know? Like this is what Western is to me. And honestly, like everyone's biased. Like when we had the Infinity set, I was a big fan of it because I was a big fan of sci-fi and like retro sci-fi. I was like, oh, I love it. This is cool. I'm down for it. The space duels, super cool. Love them. So obviously, you know, everyone's got their little biases and stuff, but
yeah,
I don't know. I know they're not gonna put guns in it, and then it's just gonna look stupid because it doesn't got guns in it. And it's a fucking Western theme set, so you know, whatever. But
I'm fine without the guns.
There better be a Back to the Future reference.
I love the aesthetic of the set already from the few teasers that I've seen. The Thoughtseize is cool. The Tiny Bones is cool. I like the Oko. The Oko is cool. I'm cool with it. I'm good with it. Outlaws being a thing. We'll get into that in a little bit. I'm good with it. And just for the record, Luis, cheese in a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, cream cheese in a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is one of the most delicious things on the face of the planet. And put me on record for saying that, dude. I think, or brie would be probably good in that. I've only had cream cheese in PB&J, but my point of the matter is that some things are good and delicious, and you just got to go out there and try it, like skydiving or putting cheese in your favorite deli sandwiches.
Big L take. Anyways, moving on. Let's think of the first one. A new batch of 5 related creature types.
So we know the Outlaws is probably one of them, right?
Right.
Like,
Outlaw.
It's like an umbrella.
I don't remember. Right. I don't remember what we've seen already. But sure. That's whatever. Second one is a card capable of returning 3 different card types from the graveyard to the battlefield.
That'll be really interesting. Just because, like, I mean, even in casual, that seems pretty powerful in casual. In C, Reanimator hasn't been a thing for quite some time. But something being able to bounce something back, maybe even grabbing your Underworld Breach or like your Yawgmoth Will, your Doom Betrayal again.
That's what I was going to say. Hot. If it's anything like Savine's, it might see play. But already I can tell this is probably going to be like 6 mana, 5 mana, sorcery speed stuff. So it's probably not going to be cEDH playable. But that effect alone, having that in cEDH would be pretty fucking nuts. We already see Savine's.
Yeah, we see Savine's as common. I think that it might see play in C. It just depends on what it is and, like, you know, the brewing of that. There's tons of blue players that would love to see something like this in blue.
I do not want to see this in blue. I don't want blue to get any more powerful fucking shit. They already have Ripstick Study, Fish, everything. Like, everyone's most powerful color right now is blue. So honestly, I don't want to see this in blue. I'd love to see this in like black or red, just to give them more options. Like, I know Blue Bomb's probably gonna get access to it, like red or black, but just for like Magda, Keurig, open up some more decks to maybe enter the format and be a little bit more stronger. So hopefully it's cheap enough for C and in those other colors, not in. I mean, it could be in white too. It might be in white. You know, we've been seeing a lot more stuff like this in white show up, like, you know, return CMC 2 or less permanents onto the battlefield, like screens and stuff. So,
you know, it'd be really interesting is to see it in green and give green anything. Like, hey, remember green? Green's a color.
I don't know if this would help green, but I don't know. I don't play green. Green is like not my color, so I wouldn't know if this is something. But who knows?
Hulk stuff. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Moving on.
The next one is a mechanic players have been asking us to do for many years. Gets made as the setting was a perfect place to finally do it. I've stopped paying attention to Magic for a long time, and I've only been in the cEDH bubble, so I have no idea what this is going to be referring to.
Maybe like a standoff kind of situation, like a, you know, like how Cowboys have that thing where they're like draw and like they do damage to one another.
Well,
I don't know.
Dueling,
yeah, maybe like a dueling mechanic.
It could probably be a reflavoring or repurposing of the Clash mechanic. That's seems like that would be close to that. So maybe something like that. Probably a repurposed Clash mechanic.
Yeah, in a multiplayer format, revisiting something like that would be really interesting. I'm gonna make a quick note really quick right here because I just realized something for later. I would like to see this. Haha! All right, let's move on. I'll bring it up later.
Okay.
I'll write it down. It's one of those future things. And then
okay, we'll move past this one because I honestly have no idea what this is. So next one is dual lands with a land subtype that has never been on dual lands before.
Artifact, enchantment.
I think it might be desert. Right?
Desert. Ooh.
I don't know if desert is a subtype actually.
But like, that makes a lot of sense because
it is a subtype. Okay.
You have like island desert or like mountain desert. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think what you said is probably close to, if not actually.
I don't know how that would make sense, like a island, mountain, desert. I don't know. I'm not big in geography, so I have no idea.
I think it would just be like island desert, mountain desert. Right. So you can tap for like the color or colorless.
Right. Well, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm thinking, I would assume desert.
Yeah.
Wild West was known for the desert. Or plateaus.
Yeah, it certainly was.
You know?
That's where John Wayne filmed all of his movies, and probably in the desert. Okay. The next one is a new model mechanic that introduces something different to think about. Modal. I said model.
Yeah.
Modal. A new modal mechanic.
Something different. Honestly, this could be anything. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's another Archmage cycle. Some actual nuance to it. That'd be cool.
This teaser is so like not specific at all that it's like yeah, we're gonna print a card and it's gonna have options.
Right?
That's very
vague.
Vague. That's the word.
The most teasery, I think.
The most teasery it can get.
So, not sure, but let's move on to the next one.
Sounds good.
A card type that can swap/exchange control of up to 3 different card types. Whoa.
That's pretty nutty.
I'm assuming this is going to be in blue or red or going to be an Izzet card. Because blue usually has a lot of swap stuff.
I think Izzet's probably right on the money because it seems a little chaotic. I'm guessing this card's going to be like 5 mana. Like, Izzet, colorless 3, and it's going to say like choose 3 different permanents and assign like
change the type or whatever.
Yeah, change whatever. Yeah, it's going to be pretty nutty.
Here's what I know is going to happen. If it's blue and cheap enough, Orvar is going to play it, and we're going to see Orvar decks, and then they're going to realize, oh, Orvar wasn't missing this card. Orvar is just bad. And they'll need to go 0-4 to learn that lesson. And I don't know how many times they'll need to go 0-4 to learn that lesson. That Orvar's not cEDH.
Orvar is
that's what's gonna happen.
Cool.
If it's in red and cheap enough, Magda might play it actually.
Yeah.
I guess Magda play something like this maybe.
If it's in red and cheap enough, even lists like Ob or like Tuna Jessica might want it. Hard to say. Let's move on to the next one.
Okay. A new creature token that has an ability no creature token has ever had before. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it can phase itself.
We've seen treasures. We've seen junk. We've seen food. We've seen like sack.
Well, it's a creature
lose
token.
A life. Yeah, this is a creature token. That's what I'm saying. Sack give a.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. Oh, actually, this is. He doesn't say activated ability. He just says ability, so that could be. I think either or. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna do throw it out there, long shot, half court shot. It's a creature token that can face itself.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say they fucked up and made a creature token that has sack silence. I don't know.
Ooh, that would be sick. That'd be cool.
That would be nuts.
That would be nuts.
That would be insane.
Okay.
Moving on.
A typal card for skeletons and zombies. Another
something unearthed, like graveyard.
Skeleton Zombie Lord, another one? Maybe something playable?
I mean, like a mass resurrection spell. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, maybe. That sounds yeah.
Like, you know, Outlaws in the West and there's Graveyard. I don't know. Can I read the next one, please?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. So these are the creature tokens in the set. And then he put in parentheses that some might have abilities. So you got the 1/1 white sheep. Shout out to the sheep. I have a foil sheep token that I love. It's on top. I've never used it. It's super cool. I won't do that with all of these, but I'll move forward from here. I was really excited about the sheep. 1/1 blue bird. 1/1 black vampire rogue. 1/1 red mercenary. 2/1 green varmint.
Varmint's
2/2 white. Oh, maybe that's it. Has there been a varmint before? Maybe that's the one. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe he messed up. Good catch, Luis. Moving on from there, white, a 2/2 white ox, a 2/2 white spirit, 2/2 black and blue zombie, 3/1 dinosaur, 3/3 white angel, 3/3 green elk, 4/4 red scorpion dragon. That sounds badass. XX green elemental, and then an asterisk / blue ox. And then it's
sounds probably some like illusion creatures making that illusionist creature.
Well, like that's a whole like Americana Paul Bunyan thing, right? Like Paul Bunyan had a giant blue ox, so that's kind of cool.
There better be a Paul Bunyan legendary creature reference.
A giant human lumberjack.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm sure that he makes that. Maybe. Yeah. I hope so.
That would. Most of these, honestly, doesn't mean much to me. Tokens don't really excite me, so it's kind of just whatever. But red scorpion dragon sounds nutty. That's pretty wild. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm Sorry about that. I got a text from a girlfriend just making sure she's okay. I'm super excited for the red scorpion dragon. I'm excited for the white sheep. I hope that there is some kind of removal that lets me use this dope ass sheep token that I have.
That'd be
uh,
cool. Like a polymorph effect.
yeah, like turn it into a sheep. But for sheep, it's white though, so that might be even cooler. Like a Pongify for white.
That would be super hot.
Right? I mean, like, well, I mean, white has some of the best removal in the game, if not like a good portion of the best removal in the game. But I mean,
to see a better generous Grift, like a one color, one mana, one white generous Grift that makes a destroy a creature make a one white.
yeah, that's pretty great, honestly. It would be even better if it was like, I mean, even if it was like colorless and a white and it just said target permanent, non-land permanent. That would be so great.
I would love that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, get rid of the Ristics, get rid of whatever.
Yep.
Here for it. What's the next one?
Some of the planes with legendary villains in this set. Dominaria, Aldrain, Fiora, I mean, we already seen some of them. I don't really care about this. Matter to me. More flavor, I guess.
I think it could be pretty cool. I mean, like, new Capenna has the demon guy, the guilds. Actually, Ob Nixilis is still stuck on new Capenna, so that might be kind of cool.
Well, apparently now they can all just, everybody can travel the planes now through the Omen Pass and other bullshit. Like, I don't know. What I've been seeing and reading, and it just sounds like a fucking mess that I don't even want to read the story to, like, know what's happening and what they're talking about. So I'm just like, whatever.
I enjoy the story a lot, and I was like super caught up to it up till the aftermath of March of Machine, and then just work and school and whatnot. Right now, I'm reading a lot of Venom 2021, the comic series. But so as soon as I'm done with that, I'll try to get on some Magic stuff, especially because we're hosting this podcast. I don't want to seem like I don't know anything about it. But sorry, guys at home, I don't know anything going on right now.
All right.
Last thing I remember, Nissa was coming out of a concussion or something like that.
It doesn't matter. That story's but I'm not gonna go through the rest of these things, some of the rule text, but I do want to go over just a few that I think might be interesting. They are in cEDH. The first one is this one not really for cEDH, just in general. I'm surprised they made something like this. You can't cast spells during your first, second, or third turns of the game.
That's rough.
It has to be some, like, 1 green mana, like 5/5 big green stompy creature or something. Or, like, I know there was an angel that was like Sarah Avenger, I think, or something like that. It's like white, 2/2 flyer or something, 3/3 flyer, and you couldn't play it on your first or second turn of the game or something. So there's already been precedent for this, but like this seems nuts. Like not first, second, or third turns of the game. That's wild. So that sounds interesting.
That is pretty nuts.
Another one that sounds interesting is when you win that flip, copy that spell. Mainly for Krark.
Lots of Krark decks out there. Krark Shakashima, Krark Thrasios, Krark Timna. They out there. They exist.
Yeah, so that sounds interesting to see more Krark stuff and maybe just give it more critical mass, have more flip stuff to like really pop off, because really that's kind of getting the spending your turn to cast the flips, the stuff that give you more flips kind of sucks. It's not like really progressing towards a win, kind of, even though they are win cons, but you know, you're just like, oh, I'm gonna tap out for a Krark Stum, and someone else like, okay, Ristic Study, or you know, Prom, or something just better. So I don't know, it just seems like but maybe more of them and cheaper and other effects, maybe it's better. So we'll see what that is. Another one I'm interested in is if a triggered ability of a legendary creature you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. And
I'm super excited. Ob Nixilis, baby. That has Ob all over. If that's in red, if that's in black, that would just make my day.
I'm surprised they have this so soon when Downley was just printed.
Yeah, that's true. If white gets this again, this is going to be pretty nutty.
Yeah, I don't know how much of this is going to come out that makes makes it good enough to start playing. Like I don't think there's enough win cons in mono white for like a Delny CDH deck. But if there's more effects like this, maybe it could be good. Like I know there's like a Preston deck that could kind of maybe get there, but nah, you're playing mono white, so it's really rough.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe
Preston. I've never seen an actual list for Preston. The mono white rabbit, right? From yeah. I've never seen a list for him by himself. I've seen him in other lists, but yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him like being top dog.
no.
Oswald Fiddlebender is usually like what I see are Heliod.
Yeah, I lurk around in the mono white Discord, and some people were like brewing Preston, but it didn't seem like anybody got anywhere with it. Otherwise, we would have seen it in top 16 or something, and we haven't yet. So not good, or at least not good enough yet. There's some like cards for potential of win stuff, like win conditions in mono white, but they're missing pieces. Like there is God, what is it? Inquisitor Exarch. It's a priest or cleric, whatever. When it ETBs, target player loses 2 life. So there is an outlet for an infinite blink, but I don't think there's a good, cheap, compact way to get infinite blink. And there's also not any creature tutors, so just finding it is going to be difficult.
Infinite blink. It doesn't that what the Azorius commander. He was popular for a little bit. Brago? Doesn't Brago do something like that?
I don't think with that card. I don't know. Brago's not a good deck, so I wouldn't know.
People have won with it in the past.
Yeah, and then good cards got printed in.
Well, I mean, maybe this is the card that puts Brago back on.
I super doubt it. I will fucking eat a shoe if Brago wins a fucking 64 plus tournament. But yeah. Well, with all of that, the rest of the stuff seems kind of meh. There's a bunch of creature types, or like names of cards that I could care less about. But
so one thing that they do say is that there is a giant scout. So remember we were talking about earlier how a Paul Bunyan card. That's it right there. That's our Paul Bunyan.
Well, that's it for the teasers that we so far got for Outlaws of Thunder Junction. What's something you want to see?
So something that I want to see in the set very badly is more pingers, because I'm an ob. I would like to see some pingers. I would like, honestly, hear me, oh great gods of cardboard in the universe. The commanders for the set haven't been leaked. The creatures in this set haven't been leaked. I wish, some have. I mean, like the big multicolored creatures that, like,
as far as we've seen, nothing.
Yeah, nothing yet. There may not be, but hopefully there is. And if there is, I would like for Christmas a commander that is C viable, that can run like straight up ping and damage that's not on, and maybe has a third color. I love the idea of like if Nekuzar like didn't let your opponents draw cards, that would be so hot. Like, but it's just not quite there. I think that with the current way that things are, I'm almost positive that this year at some point we'll see another like Steel Druid, Orcish Bowmasters type effect printed. I just think that that's their response to like how much card draw is printed in the games, how popular wheels are. Is that they'll print more hate for it instead of not printing like more card draw effects. I think that'll always be part of the game, and they're going to balance it out, printing out that draw hate. And I'm here for it. I like the mechanic a lot. I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people say it's ruining it. I think it's great. So
yeah. Some things I would like to see this set comes out is some cheap way to punish all the treasures that are happening. I know Bowmaster came out to punish card draw. Honestly, it doesn't do enough. but it does do some good work sometimes. But it's pretty good. 2 mana punishes card draw, so I like it. But I think something to punish treasure making with, like, something to punish Dockside. Maybe something better to punish Thassa wins, or better yet, like if Thassa's Orco is like a cycle for every color, to have some kind of win con like that would be super cool. I think would help out the playing field. So I would love. I would love
if
to
Green
see
got something like that, that would be great.
Yeah, green ETB, if you control 20 creatures or something, you win the game. Something like that. Like something like Thassa in the other colors, give them something to hold up against it, because yeah, right now it's just Thassa. Like, that's honestly what's making blue so good, is just having that like uninteractable win con is like pretty nutty. So seeing that in other colors would be cool. I think I would love to see that.
I agree with you. I think that would be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Punishing treasure is kind of a hard thing. I know they printed that goblin a few sets ago where it's like, if they crack a treasure, they take 2 damage or whatever. Then there's cards like Disciple of the Vault, where if like a treasure ETBs, or if a treasure leaves the artifact leaves the battlefield, they take 1 damage. But that's like a very specific mechanic that's really only good in grindy lists like Ob or Prosper.
It has to be something like Bowmaster, like 2 mana. When it ETBs, the effect happens, and when a treasure is cracked or ETBs or something like that, like it does that effect again. And maybe even just another ping one, like that would be fucking nuts.
That would be pretty nutty. Life loss is definitely how you balance those mechanics, I think, because if you do too many of those things, you should, I don't know, that's the equilibrium. Stacks is just it's not the bacon anymore. It doesn't prevent people from doing it. People know how to break parity, or people aren't affected by it in the first place, unfortunately.
I think it has to be monocolor too, so it can be in the most decks. Like, I could see the effect being like, maybe like red flash, some goblin. When it ETBs, an opponent loses 1 life. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a treasure, they take 1 damage. Just to like have that effect there to like punish them for treasure.
Sure.
Would be good. Like, I think, or fuck, even if like whenever an opponent cracks a treasure, you add 1 red. So now you're just like, oh shit, now I'm giving this guy mana for all the mana I'm doing, and like maybe they'll be able to do something in response. Something to punish it. Like, honestly, like I think that would be something like that would be cool. Yeah, it needs to be able to effectively punish or make people think twice about casting Dockside. Like, have to worry about this being a card, because now people.
Or they could unban Hull Breacher.
No,
we could just make my day and unban Hull Breacher.
Well, that's all the teasers for Thunder Junction. Comment down below what you guys want to see. What what you guys think about the set. Something you guys would like to see in it.
Be sure to give us a like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening to us on YouTube or wherever you're listening to us, go ahead and hit that follow button. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your family, tell your cousins, tell your neighbors. Just see that I'm a Crypt Choir head. I love that podcast about magic. And then like Luis was saying, just let us know what you liked. Let us know what you didn't like. And feel free to hit us up on Twitter at our handles, at Wizardly Dylan, at The Aesthetic DM, and just talk to us. And like, maybe there's something you want us to talk about. We'll be sure to try to get it in there. So Thanks a lot for listening, guys. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Yeah. Good night.